The reason that Gensler and the SEC don't want to give an answer is so they can continue to enforce whatever they want on anybody. Like the whole
Yeah.
thing is ambiguously worded and a word salad so they can take advantage of any opportunity they want against anybody. Let's get in real quick to this story. And I do love, Coinbase. Love them, hate them, necessary evil, whatever you want to say. Brian Armstrong, same thing. We've talked about Coinbase in the past, Ewok, and how of all the major exchanges, they've other than like Binance, they've withstood the test of time. They're a couple of cycles in now. And a main point in their favor, and again, you can shit on them or feel negative about them all you want with this, but they, from the beginning, have been trying to get clarity with the SEC. They are trying to work with the SEC. And I understand, that's like flirting with the enemy or whatever you want to say. But in this market, if you feel that some kind of regulation is inevitable, which I think if you're smart, you should feel that way, then you want to get out in front of it and you want to understand, you want to work with them, the best way that you can, because it's certainly this technology and this mode of investing isn't going away. So I love what Coinbase is doing here. Now, it's one thing to say, hey, we'll play your game. We want to figure out what your stance is on things. Well, then you've got the enforcers, the SEC and Gary Gensler, not giving you any clarity. So it's kind of, what are you going to do in this scenario? So we're trying to play your game. We're trying to make sure that we're compliant. We want clarity from you. You won't provide us that clarity. So Coinbase goes on the offensive and sues the SEC, which I think, hey, good defense is a good offense, or whatever they say. But yeah, so basically the quote, this wasn't Brian Armstrong, but I forget who from Coinbase, but I read this the other day. So to propose and adopt rules to govern the regulation of securities that are offered and traded via digitally native methods. Again, go on the offensive. And it's funny because there were just headlines back in March of the SEC suing Coinbase. So it's funny that we actually have this happening. But what do you make of this move from Brian Armstrong and Coinbase going on the offensive? And I think it's a good idea. They have to get clarity. And Gensler, we saw it. We talked about it on our last episode. Literally shaking when asked directly, are you identifying Ethereum as a commodity or security? Would not answer the question. So what do you make of this?
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't understand why they, and I sent you an article too, how the SEC they're backtracking. They won't even they won't even define digital asset because they say we're still continuing to look into it. So I'm glad they're doing what they're doing. I don't know that the SEC actually sued them. I know they sent them a Wells notice. Now I'm not sure if that is a suit or if there's I'm not sure the technicals of what a Wells notice is, if it is a formal suit or if it's more of an inquiry to stuff.
I believe it's just an inquiry. I think it's just their standard inquiry. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think they're smart. I think they're smart for getting ahead of it, and putting the heat on them, saying you have to define this stuff, give us clarity, tell us what you want. If you want people to follow the rules, or if you just want to leave it ambiguous so that you can make examples of people when you feel like it, then we're just going to do what we want and we'll pay the fine later. I think that's what it's coming down to, and I'm glad they're putting the pressure on them. Somebody has to do it. So yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see somebody taking offensive. At one point, a couple of the guys from Discourse Syndicate said that they wanted to get a ruling ahead of time as well. But the problem is it costs a lot of money to get the lawyers to sit down with the SEC to determine whether it's a commodity or security. So, we'll see what happens, but hopefully Coinbase can start a trend and some of the others follow along. That way we can get an answer.
What you just said is exactly what it is. The reason that Gensler and the SEC don't want to give an answer is so they can continue to enforce whatever they want on anybody. Like the whole thing is ambiguously worded and a word salad so they can take advantage of any opportunity they want against anybody. That's kind of the whole point. And they want to keep it that way. But I think at some point they're going to just have to be backed into a corner where they're going to have to do something. And there's so much heat on Gensler right now. I mean, this is the other thing we talked about a couple of weeks ago. We've got Warren Davidson, the Republican representative. I think he's member of the House. Yeah, he's member of the House from Ohio. Looking to just restructure the way the SEC is, get rid of Gensler, get rid of the idea of even having like a head of the SEC and have more of a panel type situation.
Right.
Obviously, the Minnesota guy, Emmer, is all about that. And then we had, forget the bow tie gentleman that was mainly questioning him on the Ethereum thing.
I forget him. I forget what his name was too. But yeah, it's good to see those guys putting pressure on.
Yeah, they're seeing that, not, but believe it or not, what you may see on the news and everything, like the certain Democratic politicians they're not going to have their way in terms of like banning crypto, assembling an anti-crypto army, and all this clown stuff that you're hearing. That people realize, like the grown-ups, the adults actually within the government realize that this isn't going away because it can't go away. You don't stop it. It's not something that goes away.
Right.
Look at how the drug war went. So it's there. It's something they're going to have to learn to work with and not against. And that is a two-way street. And kudos to Coinbase for going on the offensive, because if you don't get any clarity, there's no way you can operate appropriately. So
yep, exactly.
Yeah.
HexPassiveIncome.com. My friend Crypto Coffee has created what I think is probably the best course for a new cryptocurrency investor. Not only that, but these courses usually charge an arm and a leg. Crypto Coffee is only charging $200. I think right now he actually has a discount for $150. I have a link below in the description. If you are new to crypto, do not understand Hex and how it works, click the link below. It's a quick, easy course. He only gives you the basics. I personally, myself, have thought about creating an intro to crypto course in the past. I don't think there's any reason to do so because Matt, Crypto Coffee, has already taken care of that. And I don't think anything needs to be added by anybody else. So check it out. The link is in the description, and sign up to Hex Passive Income today.